Hello and welcome to Power Up with Power Coach Alishia. Today we are talking all about where you get your fulfillment from and getting that fulfillment from other people. And I know that sounds like it could be a positive, like getting filled up from other people, but it's actually not a good thing. And I want to talk to you all about that in just a moment when I figure out why Facebook is not working. I wonder why you can use their live producer, but it doesn't go live. It just doesn't. Oh, wait, I am live. I'm going crazy, you guys. This is not working. And I don't know why. Okay, so if you're watching this, please say hi to me. I know if you're on replay, it seems like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But Facebook is being so freaking weird. And I don't know why. So I'm having some issues. All right, let me get this shared so we can see if that's actually going to work. And then we will go from there. Okay. So if you're just joining me, we are talking about getting your fulfillment from other people and how it's actually not good for you. Okay. I think. Oh, wait, I am live. I think it's good to go. Getting your fulfillment from. Okay, there we go. I was like, why is it not working? Good thing I didn't send the text. People would be so annoyed because they would be getting 5 text messages. Woot. Okay. If you don't know who I am, I'm Power Coach Alishia, your source of fun, funny, exciting, entertaining, and educational life coaching, transformational speaking, and soul healing with a twist of tough mama bear, no fluff, no hand holding, no bullshit love. I specialize in helping you get out of your own way, put yourself first without feeling guilty, and find yourself again. Every Monday, well, mostly every Monday, usually 3 Mondays a month, around 5 p.m.-ish Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern, I do a Power Up with Power Coach Alishia. I'm still trying to figure out where I'm actually going to go live at because wherever I'm going live at is not really working. Hi, Sarita. Yay, somebody can see me. If you are live, please say hi to me in the comments. If you are watching this on replay, please drop hashtag replay in the comments. I will still respond to your comments there. I'm hoping that this gets cleared up soon and everybody that wants to join me can join me. All right. So one of the things that happens a lot when I am working with my one-on-one clients and in my group coaching programs that I'm always having to work people through is where you get your fulfillment from. So this is something that always catches my clients by surprise because they never think that it's quote unquote a big deal, right? Like, oh, it's fine if I get my fulfillment from being a mom or taking care of my husband or always being there and helping other people or something outside of yourself, right? And the truth is that, because that's a big myth, you're told that the more that you help, the more that you give, the more that you deplete basically your personal power, it's better for everyone else involved because you're giving outside yourself, you're being selfless, right? And this is really for women, right? You're raised this way. Men are more selfish by natural, just by natural personality. And that's because they are taught that as long as they're making the money and providing a living for their family, that their partner should be doing everything else. I mean, it's more that baseline. Everything's not that cut and dry, but it's more that baseline. And so what happens is you tend to get your fulfillment, the way that you feel about yourself, from giving all of you to everyone else. Here's the biggest problem with that. When your fulfillment, that personal connection, your self-confidence, your self-worth is connected to what you're giving to everyone else, anytime you are not giving, you feel like you're not doing enough, like you're not giving enough, and as if you're doing something wrong, or you feel guilty. If you can connect with this, I want you to put a 1 in the comments. If this sounds like you and what you've been taught and how you've been raised, or even just your mindset, I want you to put a 1 in the comments. And I'm here to tell you that it's not your fault that you live this way. However, it's really important that you shift out of that way of thinking. Now, if you are already loving this and this content, I want you to know that I am live each Monday, usually 2 to 3 Mondays a month around 7 p.m. Eastern. And we're covering a topic related to powering up your life and helping you find yourself again. Inside of my Power Up Your Life group, I do have the schedule at the top of the group for the month of when I'm going to be going live. So you always know, because it does change from month to month. If you're not in that group and you're watching this somewhere else, go to community.soulhealingzone.com. Again, that's community.soulhealingzone.com. It's a free Facebook group. That is where my live schedule is posted. I am hoping to go live from my Facebook page and share it around, but for whatever reason, that didn't work today, and I didn't have time to keep going live. So I just wanted to get live and get this message out for you. Okay, so you give of yourself, you feel good about yourself. You give of yourself, you feel good about yourself. You give up yourself, you feel good about yourself. And it's this vicious cycle. And when you're not giving of yourself, then you don't feel good about yourself. But the problem is when you're giving of yourself, you're giving so much of you that it's constantly depleting your personal power and energy. Hi, babe. And so you can't figure out how you're supposed to continue this rigmarole of getting that feeling of fulfillment and importance and like you're quote unquote doing your job. You can't figure out how to harmonize that with saying no, taking time out for yourself, taking downtime, not giving everything that you have to give. And this includes your immediate family, the people who live in your house. Even if you have younger kids at home, it includes them, right? So, and that's probably the bigger challenge than outside your house. So the first challenge comes saying no to your kids, saying no to your partner, and taking back some of that time for yourself. Then it's outside the home to everybody and everything else. Well, you do this long enough that you hit this point that you're in power saving mode. And the problem with being in power saving mode is you're pushing yourself all the time to take action and to make shit happen and to take care of this and to take care of that. And ultimately, you're always exhausted. You are running like a chicken with its head cut off. You feel like you don't have enough time for anything. You look in the mirror, you don't really recognize yourself. You've gained some weight. You're like, where did I go? And the thing is where you went is in that battery charge, right? When you are running at 70+% of your personal power battery, then you don't ask yourself these questions. You're not wondering where you went. You're not feeling that depletion and like you ran into the ground. That's not how you live when you're at 70% plus battery life. But when you're at power saving mode, which is right around that 5% battery life, so I would say 5 to 20% battery life, you have nothing left to give. And when you're at that 21% to 69% battery life, that's when you're constantly saying yes and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. And that 21 to 69%, you do not realize that the actions that you're taking are literally killing your soul energy because you can't feel it yet. And by the time you feel it, you're down to that 20 or less percent and you don't know how to get it back. I'm hoping that this is like really connecting with you. So what do you do? What do you do when you realize you're at power save mode? Well, what I'm about to tell you is probably going to frustrate you. It's going to be something that you don't want to hear. And that is you stop. You stop giving everything that you have to give to everyone else, and you start taking time for yourself. Now, I have a whole formula that I have created for this. I teach a portion of it in my Get Your Shift Together workshop, and it is part of every single program that I release around like life coaching. So it's in my 90-day shift program. I teach it in my Soul Circle community. I teach it in my Shift Happens program. Hi, Jules. I teach it in my Soul Food program because it's the foundation to everything in your life. And so I'm not going to teach it today because I talk a lot about it's basically my secret formula for always having more than enough time while feeling high vibe, high energy, peak personal power, and at that 70+% battery level. So one of the things I want to talk about today is your quick action that you can take right now. So the very first thing that I would do would be schedule in your calendar for the next week 7 different slots of time for you. And for now, I would say 1 hour. So 1 hour a day for the next week. So this is a little teeny tiny part of my formula. In that hour, I want you to get outside. Really preferably, I want you to go for a walk. I have horrible feet with plantar fasciitis, and I'm making it for 3 walks a week right now. So if I can do it, I believe you can do it, right? So get outside for a walk. The reason why I want you to go outside and the reason why I want you to take a walk is because it's going to help charge your energy. So even though you're depleting physical energy by going for a walk, you are charging up your emotional energy with the flowers, with the bees, with the sounds of the car and the birds and the sun and the trees and all of that. You're charging your soul energy by doing that. Now, I'm an earth sign, so the more I'm in earth, around earth, I love that, right? The more I'm inside, I start to get disconnected from it. And I'm really learning that a lot more right now than I ever have realized in the past. That'll take about 30 to 45 minutes of your time. While you're on this walk, though, something that is extremely important is what you're listening to, what's going into your head and your mind and your ears, okay? You're so depleted because day in and day out, you're pretty much just putting out fires, whether it's helping someone move, oh, I miss you so much, we need to catch up and go to lunch, or the kids need to go to extracurricular activities, or all this shit needs to be done around the house, or your partner wants you to do this, or this person wants you to do that, or the kids need you to do this, or you think they do, and whatever. All of that is just putting out fires. Okay, I got the kids here. I got dinner done. I got the laundry done. I got this done. I got that done. Okay, I went and helped her. I did that. I did this. I did that. Okay, my business needs this, and that. Instead of you thinking of it as income producing activities and success, it is depleting your energy. It is a fire that you have to put out. And that's a whole other training about how you view the action that you're taking. And that makes a world of difference on if it energizes you or depletes your energy. So we're not going to quite talk about that today. But what's going into your mind is so important. So if you haven't downloaded Audible, or even if you just want to go and get the podcast app, you need to start listening to things that energize you. And I don't mean energize you like, woo, let's go. Like not like that. I mean soul energy, right? You need to start listening to things that give you that. And that comes from personal development. Now, I would love to recommend my own podcast, right? And you can check that out by going to soulfirepodcast.com. There is a link in the description of this video that links you to my link tree. Hi, Angie, and all of my different links that I have for you there. And the podcast is one of them. So I definitely would recommend listening to my podcast. It's definitely Soul Fire. That's why it's called the Soul Fire Podcast. So you can find that at soulfirepodcast.com. A new episode releases every Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern. All right. But that's only one episode, one day a week. So you need to find something else to be listening to outside the podcast. I highly recommend one of 2 books right now for anyone listening to this, no matter when you're listening to it, no matter where you're listening to this. The 2 books I recommend is Mel Robbins' 5-Second Rule and The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. One of those two books. That's what you should be listening to when you're out on your walk. All right? When you come back from your walk, I would like you to journal your thoughts. I know you do, babe. I'd love for you to journal your thoughts. What came up for you when you were out on your walk and that was on your mind? Sometimes I have to journal while I'm out on my walk, just little notes, because it's rapid fire into my brain so much that by the time I get home, I'd forget. So for me, I usually need to journal along the way or put little notes in there that it's coming up for me, right? If you don't feel like you need to do that, don't do that, right? You can wait till you get home. Spend about 15 minutes or whatever, journaling what came up for you, what connected with you, things that you were thinking about, negative or positive. It doesn't matter. Just get it all out. All right? That's what I want you to do. That's the first step to increasing your power from that power saving mode, from that 21% to 69%, because we've got to get you in that space. So what I just told you to do is going to increase you somewhere from 21% to 69%. My guess is that it'll get you somewhere around 50. So you're going to be feeling better, but still not at that higher soul energy level, right? But it's going to be better than where you're at right now. In the formula that I teach, and I go into it in more depth in my free Get Your Shift Together workshop, you will get more of what's going to take you to that 70%. And actually all of what will get you to that 70+%, right? So you'll learn that in my free workshop. And I definitely want you to sign up for that. In my link in the description of this video for Linktree is the Get Your Shift Together workshop link. And it'll put you on the waiting list for when it opens again in October. So definitely jump on that waiting list to learn the rest of this. The reason why I'm not teaching it to you today is because I want you to just take one step for yourself. So your first step is to block out 7 hours this week, 1 hour a day. And for the next 7 days, you're going to go for a walk and you're going to journal. Well, I said that walk's going to take you 45 minutes, but that's probably not true, because I take roughly 2 miles takes me 52 minutes. So if you're only going for a mile like Angie is, then you're probably going to be right around 27 to 30 minutes, right? And so then you can journal for however long for your mind to just get it all out, and then you're done. I don't need you to do any more than that. Right there, like I said, is going to charge you up just to that next level. Now, if you're doing that for the next 7 days and you're continuing to overcommit because of the fulfillment you get from giving to everyone else, what's going to happen is you're going to charge and then deplete, and then charge and then deplete, and then charge and then deplete. So what's going to happen is it's not going to compound to get you up to the next level. It's going to give you some juice and pull you back, and give you some juice and pull you back. So that brings me to the next thing. For the next 7 days, there are 2 more actions that you need to take. So remember, 1 is finding an hour a day in your schedule for the next 7 days. And during that hour, I want you to go for a walk and I want you to journal your thoughts. So there's 2 steps, right? Actually, 3 steps already so far. Find 7 hours in your schedule, 1 hour a day. Go for a walk and journal. The next thing that you're going to do is make the commitment to not commit to anything else right now. So for the next 7 days, whatever you're asked, the answer is no. Now, I'm not talking about hey, mom, can I get a drink? Hey, mom, can I go hang out with Susie? Hey, mom, I'm not talking about that. I mean, can you go here? Can you do this? Would you be willing to volunteer? Can you help me out? I was thinking da-da-da-da-da. No. Okay? So here's the deal. You're not going to say yes to anything else. Okay? But in order to, commit to not commit. Exactly. In order to find maybe this hour a day, which you have it, but let's say you need to find it. Well, then you need to ask somebody to do something that roughly takes an hour of your time a day. And usually that's cook dinner. So if you're not willing to really dig deep and find an hour a day, which everyone has it, then you're going to have to ask for help. Usually, like I said, it's going to be dinner. So ask your partner to cook dinner for the next 7 days. Could you cook dinner for the next 7 days while I take some time to reconnect with me because I'm feeling depleted? I'm like, I'm going to fucking lose it. More than likely, they'll say yes. If they don't say yes, then that's, again, a whole nother thing that I won't go into. No, in my opinion, they are not a good partner if they're not willing to give you some space for yourself. Unless they're not home or something like that and they can't help, then you need to rearrange shit so that you can actually give that to yourself, that time to yourself, right? All right. So say no. There was something else. No, I think that's it. Yeah. Find the 7 hours, 1 hour a day. Go for a walk. Journal your thoughts. Say no to any new requests. And if you don't think you can find that hour a day, then you need to ask for help with something that takes roughly that much time. If you've been following me for a long time, you have heard this for all the years you've been in my world. There's a reason why I constantly wrap back to my formula for always having more than enough time, some piece of it. There's a reason why it always comes back up. Because it's so easy to fill your days and times with shit that you think is so important that you become the most unimportant person in your life. That's how you get to power saving mode, by making yourself the most unimportant person in your life and attaching your fulfillment and your importance to giving of yourself in order to feel good about yourself. So that's another piece that I want to touch on, or that I not touch on, but I want to really talk about, because that's the whole title of today's Power Up with Power Coach Alishia, right? When your self-worth, self-confidence, your ability to your self-love, your self-esteem is attached to that in which you give and do for others, it is a recipe for personal power failure. Because if what you do for somebody else is not to their standards, or they don't like it, or it wasn't good enough, and they say something, now you feel worthless and like a piece of shit because they felt that way. Only if they are happy about it, grateful for it, even just a quick thank you, right? It meant something to them, even the slightest. Do you feel any sort of fulfillment? But if it isn't received the right way on the other end, you actually feel less about yourself than the action that you took, which means now you have to go take more action for other people, someone else, in order to get that fulfillment. And if that doesn't go the way that you want it to, or that it really needs to, for you to get that fulfillment, then you need to go take more action for someone else to get that fulfillment. And the problem is, doing too much of this takes you to like 1% battery. You're literally ready to like hit a mass depression. Especially if all those people you're out there doing shit for are going through their own shit in life and they're in their own shit storms, then what you're doing for them really isn't going to be enough, because they're not doing enough for themselves, right? So it's this vicious cycle of everyone being destructed, if you will. So I think this is, I think my husband's a great example of this. If he used to take action on something, let's say dinner, okay? Oh, you're so welcome, Angie. Like when he used to make dinner, if I didn't like the dinner, if Daniel is at power saving mode, which he used to always be there because he would give everything of himself to all of us all the time, no matter what I did, no matter how much I begged him, no matter what I said to him, it's just what he did. And it had to be his idea to make that space for himself. And I had to realize that I had to relinquish control, that if he wasn't going to do that for himself, then that was on him, sort of thing. But he would always be living at that power saving mode, probably at 5% battery. So if he'd make a dinner that I didn't like, which by the way, I'm hella fucking picky, he would very much internalize that. And then he would feel like complete shit. Whereas if I make a dinner that everybody didn't like, I would be like, well, I mean, I did my best. Whatever. Like it wouldn't be something that would destroy me, because my worth as a human, as a person, how I feel about myself is not connected to that fucking dinner. But people who get their fulfillment in pleasing others, it's connected to everything. Your emotions are connected to it. It's connected to everything. So unless those things go awesome and great all the time, you feel like shit a lot of time. That's why you overcommit. That's why you're constantly depleting your power. That's why you're always in power saving mode. And it wasn't until he's learned that to like disconnect his emotions and his self-worth from making dinner and what the dinner tastes like, that now I can say, holy fucking shit, this is so salty. Like, you put a shit ton of salt in this. I'm sorry, but I don't love this at all. And go, oh, okay, well, next time I know what to do different. So now his attitude towards it is different. Next time I know what to do different. Now I know what I did wrong that made it that salty, that I changed this time when I made it. Now it's more of a logical thought process about it than an emotional, I'm a piece of shit, I'm a failure, I can never do anything right mentality. Does that make sense? Now, detaching your emotion, your fulfillment, your self-worth and confidence and love from what you do for other people is easier said than done. That's why over here, you've got to be working on that connection, that soul connection is what I call it, with yourself. That walk that you take, what you're listening to on that walk, that journaling session, those are the beginning to attaching your personal power to yourself and your actions rather than other people. Yes, you're going to still do things for other people. Yes, it's still going to be fucked up at a lot of times, or not work out right, and people aren't going to be happy, and it's not going to be great, and whatever. But instead of you internalizing that and then going right back out to give to someone else to get that fulfillment, you'll just be like, well, fuck, that wasn't great, or I could have done this instead, or you know what, I did my best, and that's what it is. You get this different shift, and it's like all emotion is removed from it. Your energy level is removed from it. So even though I'm teaching this, there are things that charge me, and they frustrate me and they piss me off. And I used to get so emotionally charged by things that people would say and do that I would like stew and think about it and process it for days. And then it got to a day. And then it got to most of the day. And then it got to part of the day. And now it's to a portion. So maybe like an hour. Sometimes it's minutes. And that's crazy for me because that's not quite my personality. I'm more of like, hold on to, think about, process, look at all the different angles, while in the midst of that, it's pissing me off and frustrating me and causing me issues, whatever. But that's because I've detached my emotion from it. Now, I haven't ever been one to take action just for my own like fulfillment and self-worth. That also happened to me this morning. Good. Then you're supposed to be here, babe. Why is your thing is in Spanish? You shared it and it says distribuidor de contenido. I don't know why your stuff's in Spanish. Anyways, or my stuff's in Spanish. Somebody's is. So it's easier able. Yeah, that you're right. That happened to me this morning. I'm easier or able to like release that and detach emotion from other people's decision. Be like, you know what? Fuck it. That's their choice. That's what they did. That's where their head's at. That's what they want to do. I'm removing my emotion from that. I'm releasing that because it's not going to do me any good to hold on to that. Right? You think that going out there and doing all of that and taking that action and giving of yourself is what does you good. It's what is good for you. It's what you need to do to give back. But the truth is that action is actually killing your freaking soul. So until you can learn to detach your emotions and self-worth, hi Cindy, and basically the core of, how you feel, until you can learn to detach that from other people, as your coach, I would tell you, then you won't be making any commitments to people for a long time because you are not worth the sacrifice to give to other people. It's not worth that sacrifice. I don't care what anyone says. Do I think that we should be giving to each other and, being for each other and showing up for each other? Yes, of course, but never at the sacrifice of your own soul, your own happiness, your energy, your own personal power. And I don't even know if until I did this training that you realize that. Maybe you couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on. Like, why does this keep happening? I don't know. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why I end up feeling this way. How did I get to this place again? That's how. So we got to work on disconnecting that. This is really like the bare minimum that you can do to start disconnecting yourself. First, saying no, like making no more commitments, and then creating space each day for yourself, pouring the good into your mind, journaling your thoughts and things that come up for you. This is the beginning of the actions that you'll be taking to get out of your own way, right? Put yourself first without feeling guilty and finding yourself again. I say those 3 things all the time. In every one of my courses that I sell, in every live that I do, every podcast that launches, it comes from an aspect of getting out of your own way, putting yourself first without feeling guilty, and finding yourself. Depending on what course it is, it's diving deeper into one of those areas, or it's helping you transition into it being the active part of how you live. So maybe in my 90-day shift program, you're really working on shifting your shit shows to more rainbows, right? Shifting from it being so dark all the time and taking little action each day to shift out of that place. In Soul Circle, we're going a little bit deeper, but we're going deeper in a broader way. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to make sense of that, but we're talking about all things, not just shifting and putting yourself first, but we're talking about how to kick your procrastination and organizing your chaos and using journaling to do soul work. And we're talking about clearing your mind clutter and how to do that and vision planning. I mean, there's so many things that are going into Soul Circle that in 12 months of the year, you're hitting all of these different aspects of life. That's how I like to call that program, right? So you're not necessarily just sitting in getting out of your own way or putting yourself first or finding yourself again. It's like just aspects of avenues to clearing the shit out of your life. But when you move into Shift Happens, that program, which is my signature program, is all of the things: getting out of your own way, putting yourself first without feeling guilty, and finding yourself again. So you're doing all of those things in an 8-week period, right? And my soul food program is like fire. I don't know, like fireballs of power and fireballs of energy. And that program is way more about finding yourself again than it is putting yourself first without feeling guilty or getting out of your own way. Like, I hope that makes sense. The reason why I'm explaining this to you based on my programs is because you're going to constantly hear this narrative, if you will, over and over and over and over and over again, no matter where you are in my world. Now, is that the only thing you hear? No, there's like a fuck ton more where that came from. Managing your money. And like I said, kicking your procrastination, organizing your chaos, journaling, shifting. I mean, there's so much more that goes into it, but this will always be the baseline. And some avenue or some respect or another, we will come back to this. And that's because when you get comfortable, you stop. So when you get comfortable and you start feeling great and like, oh my God, everything is awesome, guess what you stop doing? Putting yourself first. Everything starts shifting back because we're creatures of habit. And so we tend to go backwards. So with that being said, I want you to find 7 hours in your schedule, an hour a day. I want you to get out for that walk. I want you to listen to The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins or The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I want you to come back and journal when it's all done. And I want you to say no to any other requests of you for the next 7 days. There's nothing else you can do. Can you pick up this kid and drop them off there? I don't give a shit if that kid is at the same practice and the person only lives 5 blocks over from you. The answer is no. No more extra commitments, just for the next 7 days. And then at the end of the 7 days, I want you to analyze the difference in how you felt. If you do it, you will feel 30% better. That's a huge percentage. 30% better is huge. Okay? Yay. Yes, they are. Daniel says, those programs are so good. The changes people go through when I'm in them is crazy awesome. Or when in them is crazy awesome. The one beautiful thing about my husband is he gets to hear everything from basically the background. So he hears me coaching, he hears what people say, and usually he's sitting out on the couch and like listening to the transformation as the weeks go on in whatever program it is. And one of the things he always says is like, oh my gosh, babe, that was so awesome. Oh my gosh, you rock that. Holy shit, you like really, really changed their life today. And it's cool because he's getting like coaching, what's the word? Not directly, but indirectly, right? And, but also hearing that impact that it makes, I think helps inspire him to take more action for himself. Daniel is actually my target market as a client. And he's my husband. Yeah, see, he's just on his phone. Where are you?
Where is the camera?
Oh, I'm not on that screen.
Oh.
There you are.
See?
I don't tell him he has to do that, by the way.
No, I usually just list because I need some of this stuff too. You know, it's like she says that I'm usually in the background listening. It's because sometimes I'm not, but most times I am because I feel like there's a message in there for me because usually I am in my own way. Yet usually I am doing my best to fill everybody's stuff up, and I'm like the weekends I'll even say, "All right, I'm off. Does anybody need anything else from me? I need to just not do anything." And then everyone's like, "Go away and sit down somewhere." And then someone will say something in the kitchen like, "Hey, have you seen that?" And I'll be like, "I'll get it."
Yeah.
No, stop it right now. You know, it's like
Exactly.
you need to take that. And for the last couple weeks, we've been doing this process. Well, I've been doing this process of where I announce that I'm going to be off, no more responsibilities or whatever, and I really force myself to just sit and not. I know that sounds weird, but it's made a real big change in my perspective of worthwhile to myself. And also, I feel like I can give more on all of the other times because I feel that rest.
You got to be closer to the microphone, she says.
Oh, hopefully you can hear most of that.
I
but
hope so too.
Basically, to reiterate, I've been doing my best for the past 3 weeks just to take time, announce that I'm going to be off, technically, you know, and just take that time for myself. And it's made me feel like I can give more at the times when I am on duty. And I don't feel so like, gosh, everything is about everybody. I never get any time. It really helps. So take that, hopefully run with it. And good job today, babe. I've been listening.
He always asks me, when I come in and interrupt you and I talk, does it bother you? And it never does. Like it's never something that bothers me at all because I don't know. I've been coaching Daniel since we were 13 years old and helping him like love himself and take action for himself and build his self-confidence and his self-worth. Our relationship's been like that since the day I met him. So it will never change at this rate. It's just always been like that. And so I love it when he shares because he's a man. And a lot of people think, oh, men don't really go through this. A lot don't. Okay. I will say this. A lot don't. But there are a lot of men who have more of that like nurturing side, that more feminine side. Like I'm a woman who has a ton more masculinity than a lot of women. And Daniel's a man who has a lot more femininity than a lot of men, meaning the way he processes his emotions, the way he takes action, the way he's always giving everything he has to give to everyone else. Most men are not like that. Now, I have seen this change where men are starting to be more like women in the way of go, 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 give everything, not do anything for themselves. depleting their own energy, really running on that power saving mode. They're getting sicker a lot more. So I am seeing a lot more of that happening. And I do find that interesting as well. When I first started this whole put yourself first without feeling guilty, finding yourself again, it way more applied to women. Like I would say 95% applied to women, 5% apply, 5% of the men did it apply to. Most men weren't like that. And so I'm not sure what's changed over the last 14 years, I would say. It's really interesting to see such a shift in humans. But something has changed. I'm not sure what it is. Are there a lot more masculine women, right? That are like, fuck this. I'm not doing all this. I don't know what is going on, but I do also see a lot more of that masculinity in women where they're standing up and they're not going to do it all. And they're not letting themselves be ran over and, that sort of thing. But I absolutely love when he brings his perspective, because I use Daniel a lot in my coaching. That's the other thing, because we've been through so much in his growth from his area, because Daniel always started out in his journey more broken, lost, less self-love, disconnected than I ever did. He started way more at the bottom, right? He started at that, 2% power save mode. And I don't know, though, in all the years, if I've ever had to talk him back off the ledge of suicide. I've had a lot of friends that I've had to do that. So I'm actually going to give him more credit, maybe at that 10% power save mode. He started way down there. And most of my life, I've been at the 70+%. I'll dip down, but I come right back up. That's always been my personality. And so there's a lot to learn from him, and he has a lot to give. And so I absolutely love it when he shares. And I love it when he shares from a perspective of what he's grown through, because that helps him and I see how far he's come. Yeah, he does always say something worthwhile. I love it so much. So with that, today's challenge that I'm issuing you, or action that I'm issuing you, is going to be harder than what you've done before, especially if you've never heard of this, or you've heard it before and you've never done it. It's harder. Easier to say and harder to do, but so worth it when you do it. So I'm looking forward to you taking this action. No matter where you're listening to this, I would love it if you would go to community.soulhealingzone.com. Again, that's community.soulhealingzone.com. Every single person, whether you're listening to this live or on replay, go to that group. And I want you to share with me, what was your number one takeaway? What was the thing that connected with you, that you loved, that really got you thinking, was your aha moment? Go to community.soulhealingzone.com. Post your number one takeaway. That is my Power Up Your Life Facebook group. You can also click the link in the description of this to my link tree, and the link to the group is right there. We will be back here next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern for another Power Up with Power Coach Alishia. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. See you next time. Bye.